Welcome back to A Bit Gaming and April update. Starting with the least useful, like not a project or an X project or a future project or whatever. Basically from worst to best. So I had an idea. Um, I don't know what it is because we're mainly doing stuff in 20mm for the World War II stuff, but I just wanted to try some 15mm just to see what they're like. What can you say? They're very small, which is nice in a way. I mean, that's the root idea was to get something small for a small table, see if it made a big difference. And because I'd already got most of the early war figures that I'd already got, I decided to do Russians versus, or rather, the early Barbarossa, basically. So I was just doing a few of each just to see what painting them was like, because I'm not a great painter, and these are very little. But yeah, it's okay. The German ones were Plastic Soldier Company, and these others are the Russian ones are a mixture of what's it called? Geek villain resin ones, sort of printed, and metal battlefront miniatures. So what can I say? I mean, they're all okay. I preferred the Plastic Soldier ones though, because they fit in the holes in the bases in the the bases I've got these circular holes for the characters, and obviously the Plastic Soldier figures fit in those holes, whereas the other ones don't. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I do prefer the Plastic Soldier ones. What can I say about it? I mean, I mean, I don't know really. I do like the ones I've got already, the 20mm ones, and I do quite like these as well. So so I say, this is not a project as of yet. This is an experiment for a future project. But yeah, quite fun. And I think what I'm going to do, because the Plastic Soldier Company boxes have got so many figures in, and I'm only looking at probably needing 30 to 40, but the boxes have like 130. So I'm okay with that now. I was thinking originally about trying to get it have just the right number of figures, but the boxes are quite small, so it doesn't really matter. And so that's a future project. It's going to be roughly kind of rapid fire. I mean, rapid fire is you tend to be, they're based individually, but I'm doing them and with 8 figures to be a company, but I'm going to do they're basically 9 figures, and each base represents a platoon, more or less. So that's how it's going to work. Yeah. Anything else? No, so that's okay. It's a what is it? Not an X project. It's a future project, but okay. One of the things I learned from doing this is I got some more of those geek gaming base ready sections, for putting on a base, and just to say, from my experience, the desert one is good. The Mediterranean one is good, for all the train around there, and some other ones that I got this taiga. I don't know how that's pronounced, but you know, I got this taiga one just to see what it was like, and I'd say, you know, it's a little odd on the base. I'm not entirely sure if Russia is actually like that, but it's quite distinctive, and I quite like it. Even if it's not realistic, I do quite like it. So I'm doing my Russians. Gonna have that kind of base. So that was good. So those three are good: desert, Mediterranean, and taiga. But the I also got some others which I'm not so keen on. There's scrub, which is like this mixture. We put a bunch of green flock in it for bushes, and this next one, which I think they're the same. It's like patchy plains, I think, and scrub is like patchy plains with some green bits in. And well, is it a problem? The problem with it, with these ones, is the little stones in the mixture, which are, you know, perfectly fine at 28mm, are a little too big for 15mm, which is you know, not a big deal, but just something to bear in mind. And the second thing I found with these is the scrub bases on their own is a bit underwhelming. But you know, it's okay. But you know, and the rocks look a little too big. But what I found was, just use this as another example. This is a, you know, 20mm Polish thing. I don't know how easy that is to see. Yeah, putting putting the PVC on the base, and then scattering some green standard grass flock, and then putting the scrub on was quite good. I actually like this a lot. You know, it's a mixture of you don't actually mix the flock in with the scrub base ready. You scatter some flock on the PVA first, and then you know, do the scrub stuff. And I mean, it might work if you mix them in together, but I wasn't sure that would get buried. So yeah, that worked out quite well. Using so I don't like the scrub or patchy plains on its own, but when you scatter some flock on first and then use the scrub, it comes out quite well. I quite like that. So anyway, so that's just a quick review on the Geek Gaming base ready mixtures. Next thing in the list is the last three bases of early cavalry for the Germans. It's taken me ages to do all these figures because it's only an OCD thing, and that I don't actually need these figures until I've got a big enough table for to actually bother moving the cavalry in as a thing. But I'm glad it's done. So this is my company of German cavalry at what I call crossfire scale, which is you know, roughly 1 to 3. So each base is represents a squad. So 3 bases represents a platoon, and the company commander with these spare bases for you know, when they dismount, then they you know, you leave one of them standing around so that, you know, that's where they can re-mount from. So whatever, it's largely pointless now because I need a bigger table for it to be a thing. But I'm kind of glad it's finally done. You know, big chunky, you know, imagine them riding on the road in the Ardennes or whatever. So yeah, cause I've got, it's for a reconnaissance battalion, and they had one company of cavalry and one company of push bikes at the beginning, and then I'm going to upgrade them to motorbikes at a later point in the campaign, and to finally to handmags as a third improvement or second upgrade. So yeah, it's all part of it's all part of a long-term plan, which who knows when it actually get together. So I start buying stuff from different phases. But anyway, I'm pleased about that. That's a box ticked. The next thing is the few bits of Polish stuff I've got. With this, the last army that in theory, the last army I'm supposed to be doing. So I've got these resin, resin printed figures. These are from Skybor, Polish heavy machine guns, which they came with their own base, but I wanted to put them on my standard basing. Not that great, but the figures are okay, but my painting's not that great. But I like the basing. Did that on another one, which is a Polish anti-tank gun from early war. 25mm Hotchkiss, I think. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, quite nice. I said it was a first to fight kit, and I've gone off doing guns in from plastic kits because the small parts and my lack of ability kind of get destroyed rather regularly. But fair enough. It's nice stuff. The only problem I found, the problem I found with the first to fight figures is that they tend to be more towards the 25mm than 20. So I don't know if I'm going to get the Polish infantry from them or not, as a thing. Well, I'm not doing it now anyway because of moving. But I don't know if I want them. I mean, it doesn't actually matter at a distance on my small table and with my eyesight. It doesn't make a particular difference, and there's no 20mm Polish that I know of. But we shall see if I use them or just wait until there's some 20mm there. 20mm. For the meantime, I'm just going to use these the French plastics that I had before. Oh, and this was another first to fight kit, which is it was a machine gun cart. I didn't make it up properly. I mean, there's lots of small parts which are outside of my range. Then if it's too small, then it just goes. Either I break it when I hang it off the sprue, or I just I spin it because I'm just too bad a modeler. But as I say, another example of the mixture of the Geek Gaming scrub with some flock mixed in, which I'm liking a lot. I think that works really well from my point of view. So this is just getting rid of these various kits I had. So that was them, and a 70p tank. What can I say? It's various bits broke off. Like the gun, the bit at the end of the gun got broke off somehow. Don't know how, but that's me and models. But yeah, first to fight kit is it was a very nice kit really. I mean, I'm not a very good modeler, but I think the tank kits work pretty well. I think the kits with small parts like the guns, I say your mileage may vary, but for me, I'm too rubbish. I'm too much of a rubbish modeler for the guns, but the tanks are quite fun. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to get another of these 70p's, but I don't know if I'll get the kit. I may just try and get a metal or resin model. But but they're good. I think generally the first fight stuff is good. Also, there were two things. I think I got these from Lancer. I think I could be wrong. Metal TKS, Polish TKS tanks, or tankettes rather. I say the basing is just the scrub basing, which I don't like on its own. It's much better when it's mixed in with the glass, in my opinion. Yeah, so there's two of those little TKS tankettes, which I don't know, they're fun. Yeah, basically, there's just they're either armed with a heavy machine gun or a light anti-tank gun, I think, or is it a 20mm? I can't remember. And basically, it's something that can damage light tanks and something that can't. But yeah, I don't know. They look a bit like some kind of sci-fi thing, really. Or you could use them in a sci-fi 6mm game or 10mm game or something. But yeah, they're nice, good. So those, and lastly, on this basically scrap of tanks is a French UE Chevrolet or Chevrolet, so something like Chevrolet or Chevrolet, which is early war French for towing guns and stuff. What the paint job? Who knows? Is it anything to write home about? No, but it's okay. And yeah, these aren't technically these aren't finished because I haven't got any decals for them. But say la vie. I'll get some eventually, but don't know when. But yeah. So that's cleared the decks of the last of the World War II stuff that I've been meaning to get done. Because I've got the British and the French infantry done, but not the tanks. And I've got the tank, and I've got the Polish tanks, but not the infantry. So it's all very organised and well planned. But no, so I've got all this stuff done, so I can get it tucked away before I do the moving. And lastly, got the last 10 of the Frostgrave Barbarians that I did half of them before. Yeah, is it good fun to do? They go together nicely. I can't tell if that's focused or not, but yeah, I just find the Frostgrave kits really fun. These are Frostgrave Barbarians, and in theory they're going to be Swabian mercenaries in my Normans in Sicily campaign. If whenever I get around to finishing that, but it's going to take ages just to putting up various stray figures to represent the different factions. But yeah, these are good fun. I like these. Not brilliantly painted, but they're okay. And say the figures themselves kind of work well for this type of thing, I think. I've armed them in ways that sort of suit the Frostgrave rules really, because as a unit in my Sicily campaign, they'll just count as Swabian infantry. So they'll be assumed to just be spears and shields. But because of the Frostgrave angle, I sort of there's some kind of character type that has 2 knives, for example. I've forgotten what it is. Tunnel expert or something, trap expert or something like that. And some have double-handed weapons. So it doesn't actually matter what they're armed with. I mean, in Frostgrave it matters, but for what I'm going to use them for, it's just going to be they're going to be in units of 12, and they'll just be standard infantry. So anyway, let's get those 20 done. It's going to make 2 units of 12, so need 4 figures, 4 random figures from elsewhere to make up the numbers. But the box is done and out of the way, and these will be tucked away in a box and safe for transport, hopefully. So yeah, so that was it for the month. And I've got all the loose figures that I had, or not all the loose, but most of the loose figures that I had. I got them all done so they could be stashed away and ready for transport. But I do like these. They're I don't know. Oh yes, another thing is I used the taiga as the basing material, which I think kind of works for sort of fantasy like figures, because it's a little bit over the top. I don't actually know what Russian soul's like, but I mean, it seems a bit over the top for what I was using it for, which is Northern Europe. But I think it works well for fantasy type figures. So anyway, so that's that. That's all the done stuff. So new stuff for what was it, May? Yeah. So I've got these front rank horses, which were meant to be for my last French cavalry unit for the Barbarian thing, but yeah, I got the wrong horses, and these horses need particular figures from front rank, because these horses have got the saddle on the horse, whereas most of the front rank cavalry figures have got the saddle on the rider. So that's a bit of a whatever, and it's only a selection of the front rank figures. I like that. So I had to get some figures for the horses, and these are very nice. I mean, I said there's a limited selection of cavalry like this, and I didn't see any on the in the Barbarian section. There may have been, but I just didn't see it. And so instead, I got these Austrian Hussars from the 7 Years' War, which is you could look at it as a disaster, but I've already decided I was going to do the horses of musket, in a very cavalier fashion. In that I'm going to use units of anything from 1704 to 1780 or whatever, just before the Napoleonic War, and just treat it all as one thing, as a kind of imaginations thing. So they'll be historical, but mixed up. There was 7 Years' War in one army, and Barbarian in the second one. Yeah, basically, so that's basically the idea. So that's the first thing I've got. So 7 Years' War Austrian Hussars. In theory, for the French, for their second cavalry unit, for the 1 hour war games, except there's been some unfortunate sales on the go, and Warlord was doing their sprue sale, and so I was forced by Warlord to get a couple of sprues of Barbarian cavalry, because I got those Austrians, and I was going to just use them as Barbarian cavalry, but then they had the sprue sale, so I was forced to buy more. Oops. So whatever. So I've got two. Should be 6. So I've got 6 Barbarian cavalry, 3 for the French, for their second cavalry unit, and what was it? Oh, what else was there? There was also, because I had those 12 Russian figures by mistake, but they were meant to be French. I got 12 Russian infantry figures, so I got some more of them. So even though I'm not doing Napoleonics anymore, I'm just doing this to get rid of get rid of the figures that I bought by mistake. So I've got enough figures to do a Russian battalion for Napoleonic. So say I've got the Austrian Hussars for the 7 Years' War, a second French cavalry unit for the War of Spanish Succession, 1 hour war games thing. What else did I get? I got there's another sale at front rank. Yes, another sale at front rank. So I got 4 front rank figures for the French Grenadiers. So 8 of the plastic Warlord figures, and actually I'm not sure, they should have flags. Do the Grenadiers have flags? I don't know, it might be a mistake, but yeah. So 4 front rank figures, and 8 of the remaining Warlord plastic sprue figures that I had before. That's the thing, because I was originally doing the I had 12 sprues, and I was doing 1 sprue to make up one of my battalions. But because I like the front rank figures particularly, I was only using 8 of the plastic ones per sprue, which is so I've got 2 or 3 sprues left over pretty much. Of the 12 sprues I needed for this 2 lots of 6 battalions, I've got like 2 or 3 left. So blah blah blah. That's going to be a thing in the future. So there's them. There's the French Grenadiers, the French cavalry that will finish off the War of Spanish Succession project. Some Austrian Hussars and some Russian infantry, all of which were kind of accidents really, and some other things that I bought ages ago were some Austrian generals. So why I do not know. It's the Austrian 7 Years War general figures that I bought because on a whim ages ago. Can you see anything? No, it messed up. So I've got to make these Austrian generals into something somehow. Yeah, so I've got 2 horses left over from the sprues I've got for the Barbarians, and they'll be the horses for these 2 foot figures. So there's all them. So where I was, yeah. So Austrian generals, Austrian hussars, War of Spanish Succession cavalry and grenadiers, and a Russian Napoleonic battalion. So all very planned and makes perfect sense. Not really. And then lastly, I'm going to do get rid of the French command figures that I well, not the last, but another going to do another 2 bases of the French command figures. So I got some more French infantry figures to come along to make up the 12 for the 2 bases. So that's the project for next month, which is all a bit, you know, all a bit rubbish really, because it's there's 2 units will be a real project, and the rest are all just accidents basically. So but get them done, and then they'll be then they'll be done. Yeah, I don't know if there's just total rambling. Okie doke. Well, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, so I got, and the other things I got were, although I bought those other resin and forged in battle Russian figures, Russian World War II 15mm. Plastic Soldier Company had a sale as well, so I couldn't resist, because I like the German figures. I got the Russian ones as well. So who knows what they're like? I don't know. They're going to be it basically means I just don't have to worry about Russian infantry. I have my plan. It's not going to take 130 figures, but I like them. They're kind of I don't know. Yeah, I just like them. That's all I can say really. The Plastic Soldier ones just suit me, and they didn't come in a box. There's the Russian support weapons. So there's heavy machine gun, anti-tank rifle, and a few mortars, and probably other things as well. So I'm sure these have been everyone's seen these over the years. And but 15mm, nice enough. That'll suit me for all the for when I get around to Barbarossa, which is not going to be for ages. So it's just a future thing. And the other thing I got is Battlegroup Tobruk. No, it's too big. Yeah. So why did I get this? So the second stage, I've already got the Barbarossa book, and it's what's it for? It's basically a kind of database really for you know, the units and the the units and the equipment for when I do my because I do want to do 8th Army and Italians and the Africa Corps, but I don't want to do the Western Desert. So obviously this is a bit unrealistic. So I'm going to do Alexandria as Stalingrad. So I'm going to, you know, that. So I'm going to have to, you know, the same sort of figures, but you know, Alexandria and Stalingrad, and they've got another supplement here for the battles in East Africa, where the Italians in what do you call it, Ethiopia, etc. And you know, I'm doing that, or I will be doing that eventually. It's going to be, you know, different. It's going to be alternate history, so there's got slightly more supply for the Italians in that part of the world. But this, and then, you know, with the British going building railroads up from South Africa. It's all a bit, you know, fictional, but so that's going to be, you know, my third thing. It's this kind of armored car version of the desert warfare up on in East Africa. But anyway, very chunky book. The Blitzkrieg run is it's a lot lighter, soft skin. But, yeah, chunky. What can I say? Is there anything else? No. So that's basically it. So what was it? It says it's future projects and X projects are us for the next month. Okay, toodle pip.